Doing a time and chain and gear info on a Pontiac. This is a 428/69 Bonneville. They're all the same for the most part. Time and chain and gear, I believe, is between 69, the cover goes from 69 to 76, and the time and chain itself actually from 55 to 76. Anyways, I already took all this off. I just did a little video on this sale. I'm not going to get into all that. I'm not taking this off either, but this come off actually relatively easy. Once I get everything off, just on a little note, I wasn't sure if this was ever changed before. The engine has 126,000 miles on it. The radiator was leaking. I got the radiator, 4-core aluminum from Jegs, about $310, I think, right around there. But when I had that out, I said I'll do the water pump. So, got myself a flow cooler, as it shows right here. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So I figured I might as well do that, and I might as well go behind that and do the time and chain and gear. And while I'm doing that, I'll throw water. I got to do a fuel pump. So everything I got here, I'm not gonna do one piece and then find out something's gonna break down after. I just do it all in one shot. This wasn't that bad. This is a 3/4 inch nut. The harmonic balancer bolt is 15/16. To put this on, tightening wise, it's 160 foot-pounds of torque, and the 3/4 on the big gear that goes on the camshaft is 40 foot-pounds of torque. So I wasn't doing anything with the cam or anything, so this thing could actually come off in any position. I actually put it on 0. I put like a magic marker mark. If you can't see the little dimple there, but magic marker, that means the dots on top on the top gear, and the marker here is just above the dot, and that's on the bottom gear. After I took these nuts off, obviously this come off earlier because that's the harmonic, that holds the harmonic balancer in. All I did is stick a screwdriver behind here, behind there, just keep moving it around. I got this whole thing off in one piece. Both gears and the chain come off together. I didn't have to do one or the other. They both slid forward, no problem. When I took them off together, I actually laid it right here, all in one piece. I just put a little white out on it. Obviously it doesn't come with that, just to show where the marks are. And since I wasn't going to spin the engine over, it doesn't matter where I took this off, it's always going to go back on the same. But I just left the top and bottom, which would be dead center, top dead center. And when I got the time and chain and gear, I laid the small sprocket on here with the chain on it, put the big sprocket, pretty much lined it up. You can see the keyway here, which is approximately 2 o'clock. And if you can see this one here, it's just almost at 6 o'clock. So I just kind of lined them up. I took the same exact thing with the new. I just brought it right over. Another thing I did, I mean, this engine's outside in the cold. It's nice New England weather. It probably would have went on. I didn't try it, but I threw this gear and the bottom gear in boiling water to make it expand a little bit. When I brought it out, I shot some WD-40 on the shaft here, on the camshaft there. These two, little adjustment back and forth, one gear one way or the other way, just to get it started. I had no problem doing it all at once. And once the crankshaft gear went on pretty easy. When I got to the top, all I did is tap it a little bit with this rubber mallet, push it right in. I just tightened this nut. Like I said, it's a 3/4 inch, 40 foot-pounds of torque. So that's on. If I was buying these parts, I got them at actually Rock Auto. The one I got here, that's from Rock Auto. It's a Melling. I picked this one out. They had multiple choices, but no problem with that time and chain and gear. And then the whole gasket kit right here, that covers everything. The timing case cover, fuel pump, all the little rubber gaskets you need, and all whatever you need for seals. And it's also, don't forget this one here. After this is out, a little rubber donut that goes in there so the water flows through. You don't want that. You don't want to forget about that. Make sure things get squashed in there, otherwise you have water coming out. That's so the water flows through into the intake. If I was taking that off on the bottom, I ended up buying this Impact. I got it at, what do you call it, Harbor Freights. Just bought it brand new, 80 bucks. It's electric, which is fine. 1/2 inch. I just needed something with some torque. Besides pounding that off, I got another Harbor Freight, just a cheap the wheel puller set. It just took 2 bolts to pull off the harmonic balancer. I did the same exact engine almost 41 years ago, same car and everything. And I tried a torque wrench by itself and I couldn't break it. So, being just out of high school and not too bright, I put a breaker bar on it, like so. This nut's just on there loose just so I don't lose it. So I got this on like this. I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? So I got a swing set pole, the old metal swing sets, the A-frame. It's probably about, it might be 8 feet long. I stuck it on this pole, and then I stood off to the side of the car, and I hung on to the pole. I had my brother turn the engine over. It's too bad they didn't have videos back then, because I turned it over. I think I ended up in a tree. They didn't find me until 4 months later when the leaves fell off. Somehow I ended up finishing that. I don't know what the story was, how I got it done, but I remember trying to bang the socket out with a hammer, which wasn't a good idea. It was probably a crappy set. In regards to this too, I noticed this might have been changed. The only reason I'm bringing that point up, I think the original gears were nylon. So this might have been changed somewhere. I didn't want to take a chance. I'm going to go fresh, radiator right back to the timing chain, fuel pump, water pump. So this may have been changed. I think it's supposed to be nylon if it was original. And I noticed on this could be just my setup. These 4 bottom oil pan front bolts, which go right up into, you can see them here, this the gasket down here and the gasket goes over the front. Those were kind of tricky to get at. It says in the manual to jack the engine up. You shouldn't have to jack it up. I ended up getting, which I already have, just a 1/4 inch ratchet set. And for some reason, unless someone lost the bolts, my 2 outside ones were 7/16. I think they're supposed to all be the same. The heads 7/16 on the head on these outside ones, and the other ones were 1/2 inch. But it's not that hard to do. You lay on the ground. You don't have to even jack the car up. Just get a 1/4 inch socket. Hopefully 7/16 will do all 4. If not, look at it. You'll see the difference. And 1/2 inch did the other 2. And that come off very easily. That was like those were the harder of all the bolts. But once I was down there and got a good eye on it, there was no big deal. So shortly I'll be throwing it all together. Just want to show you that there wasn't much taken off. Gave you a heads up on that. Some quick info on these on this water pump. Early '69 Pontiac. First of all, '69, like I said, 11 bolt patent on the water pump and the housing. '69 started it, but in early '69 there was a water pump like this one, if I can see, if I can measure it right, from the flange to where the fan pulley mounts. It's 4 inches. This is an early '69 water pump. Anything after early '69, late '69, all the way to whatever, mid '70s, late '70s. I'm angling the phone a little to make it look like it's 4.5. It would be 4.5 inches. So this is a short water pump. Early '69's a 4. Anything after that is 4.5. So watch out if you order one. And if you happen to grab an extra one, if you have one like this for a spare, they're probably worth grabbing because it's going to be harder to find. On this flow cool too, I didn't grab the radiator hose. Well, I probably should, but I guess it has a lot of draw or volume. It moves pretty quick. And they said there's a possibility of a the lower hole's collapsing, you know, if it's soft. So coming back here just to show, this the original hose. Kind of crappy in there, but this one has a spring in it, which they probably all should, because if it's drawing so much volume of water, according to the instructions, it said this thing could collapse. But if it has a spring in it, that one you can't see it on this end, but there is a spring in there that's going to give it some support, and that's what you might need to make sure you got the right, you know, thing's going to flow and it's not going to collapse on you. So that's about it. That's the, I didn't do the job. People are doing it online. I'm just giving you a quick heads up in case you're hitting it by yourself and you need some information. Bolt size, torque measurements. This itself, I did it on an early video, but 5/16, 18 inches, 18 threads per inch. Just run a tap. Get one. You can buy the whole kit or whatever, and I just buy the tap. Just run it through, clean out everything. Like I showed in the video before, it's the same size for the fuel pump holes. Clean it out. And these are, I think these are 1/2 inch, 15 foot-pounds of torque. And this gasket kit comes with everything you need. There's a plate in between. Once you get the cover on, then there's going to be a gasket for that. There's a gasket for that. Then a fuel pump goes on there. So everything you need is in there. It's a pretty good setup. Like I said, there was Rock Auto for this, Rock Auto for that, Harbor Freight's for that. That's Harbor Freight's. The only thing with this thing I meant to say, the body's so long that when I put it down here, I got the AC condenser coil here. And typically, this is an impact socket, these black ones, but this is so long. After I put this thing on and I tried loosen it, it was gonna bounce off this coil, which isn't a good thing. So I end up getting, I just got the regular Craftsman 15/16. It's just a short one. I thought it would crack, but seemed to work pretty good. So I put that on there and put the impact on there. It spun it right out real quick. And that was it. Hopefully this gives you some little heads up what you gotta do. Thanks.